Welcome to the episode 2 of the Total Pile podcast. I'm Tyler Courtney. This is Brock Davis.
Hello, hello.
Both of us did not do great in tournaments this weekend. That's great. We love it. It's awesome. But we're here. We're here to talk about tournaments. 3 tournaments went down at the regional/international level. And then I played in an online one on Friday because I can't travel. But that's fine. So, quick, Brock, how was your weekend? Not Pokemon related?
It was a good weekend.
Yeah.
Fun. Hung out with some good friends.
Yeah. So, obviously, how did anyone from the other groups go besides Memphis or no?
There were some from like the Jackson area. There were some other Memphis groups that went.
Yeah, there you go. I was talking Ryan and I can't remember her name, but she's so nasty.
Fina.
Sure.
Fina.
Were hanging out with
Yep.
me Friday night, so I knew they didn't go. Shout outs to them for hanging out Friday. But yeah, it's overall great weekend. Weather was nice in the Midwest, so I'm assuming it was hot as all get out in Florida.
It really wasn't bad. It was like it got down to like 55, 60 during the night, and then it got
What?
up to like it only got up to about 75 during the day.
It was 90
It was
degrees
actually really
here
nice.
in Nebraska.
Oh yeah, no.
Nope.
I was about to say it felt actually really good down there.
It was 90 degrees. I need to move. We need to move. So enough with the personal struggle. We'll recap some stuff real quick. Brock, you want to go first or let me go first?
I'll go first.
There you go. Brock, go first. We're going to talk
So I went
about
to
the Orlando Regional Championships. Brock played Charizard.
uh-huh.
Now you go.
So essentially, me and my group basically decided to assume that everybody was going to be playing something closer to Williams' Charizard list. So we basically built the deck to be able to beat that version of the Charizard list because we felt like it was the more consistent option and more just the better option to play than Towards list, even though Towards list won. We felt like the William list was just a lot easier for people to pick up than Towards like kind of weird Abomination. So we ended up playing 2 Eries, and a 1-1 split of the Charmeleons. One of the 70 damage Charmeleon, one of the anti-Devo Charmeleon, the Flareveil. And basically to start the day, I submitted my list at like 12 o'clock, and I got to the event hall, and it said that I had not submitted a deck list. So essentially what ended up happening was I had to take a round 1 loss going into the tournament, which was fine, whatever, because it's just like losing round 1. So I wasn't too concerned about it. But I then won the next 3 rounds of the day versus 2 Charizards and then a Chin Pao. And then round 5, I played against Ethan Heggie, or Hegster, the commentator for Pokemon, who helped Fabian Pulho build the New Age Guardia list, and he just basically steamrolled me. I prized 3 rare candies game 1, never had a deck search to know I had 3 rare candies prized, and I cleffed for like 6 turns in a row, and didn't see anything. Just kept getting Iono turn after turn.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
not great.
and that was the tilting part was after that, because like against Ethan, it was my first loss of the day,
Not
but
by
it was my
context.
second loss of the
Yeah,
day,
correct.
and that was the tilting part. I was like, this is the first loss I've actually gotten, and I cannot take another loss.
And this was round 5, right? Because you
This is round
were
5.
because you were 4-1 with
Yeah, this was
the
three
deck list era.
3-1.
3-1
3-1.
going into 5, right? Yeah.
3-1 going into 5 with the decklist error, and then I lost, so that put me at 3-2. And then I lost the next round to an Arceus Charizard. That literally both games he started Arceus, went, and I chose to go second both times. He started Arceus both games. Went double Pidgey, double Charmander. Turn 1. Pass. I'm
Nice.
like, okay, whatever. And I set up my board normal, whatever. And
Right.
then he went Candy Zard, Candy Pidgeot, Judge. Without ever Starbirthing. Both games. And
Yes.
I was like, are you kidding me right now?
That is very
And
drawn up.
I basically was able to get to like this super weird one prize board state to where like I needed to top deck Arvin, which I had 2 of left in the deck, or Choice Belt, and I win the game. And I missed.
That's
So,
tough.
and I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, so. And I got. So he was in static seating, and it was awful.
Texture was?
No, my round 6 guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That
it was
happens. Well, I wasn't.
because like normally like if you're doing okay at the tournament, like 3-2, you're doing pretty good. You have competitive people around you that aren't like talking too much. We're all kind of zoned in.
Oh, and you were literally like in an open
I
area.
was
They didn't.
basically I was next to a bunch of people that were like 1-4.
Oh, so they wasn't even
And
separate from the other tables.
yes, it was like static seating at the front of the hall or middle of
That's
the hall, like next to the hive.
oh, because like in Peoria, which is the only region I've been to, it was at the front of the tables, so it was still
Yeah.
very separated. And
It was very separated. So I was so tilted after that. And basically, I did them. And basically, if anyone's ever like competed in a League Cup, and if you ever are late to the tournament, you get a loss, but then you have the worst resistance out of everyone. So basically, I. So essentially, if you have a round 1 loss due to being late, which essentially is how I was marked, you are put at the very bottom of whatever standing bracket
yeah,
you are.
you would literally be player 3,000 of 3,000.
Yes, I would be the very last one.
Yeah.
Or whatever of the record. So like at that point, it was so if basically my next round, my opponent asked me if I was chasing worlds because he was just there for fun, and I was like, yeah, but I don't think it's my day today. And then all he did was before the match even started, he circled my name and he gave me the win. Um,
Legend.
which was very nice of him. Um,
Didn't help, but it was great.
I mean, it was very nice of him because like he definitely didn't have to, and
No.
I ended up beating him anyways. But it
Yeah.
was very nice of him to do it even before we did that.
Yeah.
Um,
Pokemon
and then my
community undefeated.
exactly, and then the following round I played against Lugia. So this is round 8. Played against Lugia. So Lugia is an awful matchup for Charizard if they set up. And game 1, he went first, and he he Ultra Ball double Archeops, got double Lugia down, got double Minccino down, and passed. And I was like, okay, this game's not going to go good. And he pretty much steamrolled me. We played like a 15-20 minute game 1. Game 2, we played like a grindy 20-minute game that I ended up pulling off because I went counter catcher Archeops, boss Archeops, and he never had a Minccino down.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
Lugia deck.
exactly. So I was able to do that one. And then the following game, so going into game 3, he was literally manually attaching to Lugia's and attacking because he couldn't get Archeops in the discard pile.
Yeah, that
Um,
stinks.
so he was going for, at that point, he was going for a tie.
Yeah, he's just playing
Um,
you.
he's playing for the tie. And time gets called. I had one prize card left, and he was about to circle tie, and I grabbed the sheet and gave him the win because I had 0 chance at points at that point because 5-3-1 was the bubble for points at this tournament.
For 512.
Top 512,
Yeah.
yes. So, and since I was late, I had the worst resistance out of everyone. So even if I would have gone 5-3-1, I had 0 chance at points. The only way I would have gotten top 512 points if I finished 6-3.
Yeah.
Um, so I gave him the win, and I just didn't show up for my 9th round. They got a free win at the end of the day.
Yeah. Sometimes it just
So,
happens. It's not everyone's day, every tournament, you know.
no.
And
I mean, we overcooked the list a little bit. We cut some consistency cards, so we ended up only playing 1 Nest Ball and 3 Arvins, and the
yeah,
second Erie should have just been either the second Nest Ball or the 4th Arvin.
yeah, one of the
Because we
two.
did play we played the Pal Pad,
Hmm.
which was actually really good. And then we played the Mist Energy, and I don't think you need like double Melian plus Mist Energy. It just like did not feel good the whole day. Like I was able to play around like Devo once.
Yeah.
Also my round 8 Lugia opponent played a Devo in his deck, and he played 2 Pokemon League headquarters. The one that forces you to
Yeah, the
attack with 1
extra
extra energy
energy.
on basic
Yeah.
Pokemon. And I was like, oh, okay.
That doesn't really seem to help the
um,
Charizard matchup, but I can see where that helps out a ton in some games.
it got it was for Iron Hands.
Oh, of course, yeah. Iron Hands,
But
Moon.
it made it awkward for me because like it forced me to have 2 energies on my Zard at the end of the game, or my Radzard.
Yeah, and your Radzard, yeah.
So that sucked.
That
But
is a
yeah, I
strange
mean,
one.
we so I didn't have the best day. I still have a couple more tournaments. I'm most likely going to Puerto Rico and Indianapolis and NAIC to try to clinch the rest of the world's invite.
And
But
what are you at points wise?
I'm at 391.
Yeah, that's, I mean, so you need, and then how many cups and challenges finishes you have left?
I can improve by 38 points from
Oh,
locals.
yeah, you're golden. That means you only need like, what, 45 points at all 3 events? And I see like 50 points is top
So
512.
basically, I need to if I get points from both Puerto Rico and Indianapolis, then I just need a top 128 from NAIC.
Yeah.
It's most likely gonna have to be a top 64 though.
Not impossible. It's still fun though.
No.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is points. Trips are
Yeah.
trips. We're here to travel and play poke, you know.
Yeah.
So mine is much less exciting. I got to not travel. I stayed in this exact chair that I'm sitting in right now. And I played in the tournament of Doom on Friday night, which is not a great idea for me because I work Saturday mornings, but it was my first ever online tournament. And it was an absolute blast. I didn't think it'd be that much fun. Have you ever played in an online tournament before? Like the limitless stuff?
I've played in like one, but I just don't. I'm not as focused online as I am in person.
I wasn't either. I was getting distracted by a Twitch chat and all this stuff, and that happens. But I ended up getting 18th out of, I think it's 137, 136. A couple no
That's not
shows.
bad.
No, it's a good day in the office. It was unlucky though. I think it was also like God telling me, or a higher power telling me to go to bed because I lost both my win and ends. So I went 5-3. And I lost round 7 and 8. One player got into top cut at 6-2-1, and then one player did not at 6-2. I think he just didn't play the last round or something, or maybe the tie was, or no, he gets an extra game for making top cut. I understand now, but I lost to one of an RCS control player. Playing the Delphox and the Gardevoir and one leaves with a bunch of Turos and Sharon's cares and whatnot. Super cool. Then I lost to Dialga in round 8. I prize Greninja for both games. Like you could just tell. It was back to back rounds. I just prize Greninja and I
And you were
didn't play.
playing.
I'm playing the
You were
Dunsparce
playing.
Roar and Moon, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I didn't play heavy ball. Now I do. I do play heavy ball now. But I did make a few changes from the top 8 list. I cut one guidance for a Roxanne. And that was an insane change. I think I used it once or twice. Bear in mind we're playing best of 1, not best of 3. So the fact that I used it at all in such a fast deck like this is insane. I switched the ball count to 3-3 instead of 4-2. So it was 3 Nest Ball, 3 Ultra Ball, just to get more cards in the discard pile. It was way nicer. And then I cut 1 shoes for the Temple of Sinnoh. So I still got to play the 3 Artisans. And I got to play 1 Temple of Sinnoh for anybody playing some weird shenanigans. And the list feels great. And we're going to talk about more of that success later on. But that was a lot of fun. Shout out to Senior Doom hosting that. I think it's like every Friday he hosts that. And so super sick of him to do that. I think they're out of Seattle. Is that right? Is he part of the Lake of the Rage stuff?
I have no idea.
I think he is. I think I want to say he is. On the wrong thing. Okay, so let's hop into the meta breakdown. We're gonna go over Orlando first because that's the one that is near and dear and closest to us. Day 1 percentages is 20% Zard. I think it ended up being 22. The pictures I had to steal from YouTube. Let's see here. Day 1 was 22%, and it converted down to 19.5 for day 2. So obviously, I mean, it's the big guy in the room. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. And then after that, it's Chempal at 9% day 1, Iron Hands, Iron Crown at 8, Lost Tina at 8. We see Roaring Moon make the first page at 8 or 7.82, however you want to round it up or down. And then Arceus Lugia at 6.8. Day 1, I mean, we talked about it. You saw a Giratina. You saw Gardevoir. You saw Lugia. Like, did it feel like it was 20% Charizard in the room? Obviously, you playing Charizard.
Yeah. So basically, everyone near me, except one of my buddies who like made an amazing run with Iron Hands. We all played minimum of 2 Zards.
Yeah.
2 to 3 Zards, like all of us.
Out of 9
So like
rounds.
the room definitely was like, I was like, so before the tournament I was expecting closer to 30% like Lugia numbers because the deck is that strong. And
True.
I like after it won the first tournament, and then the top 4, 2 of the top 4 was Charizard, and they were so different decks, so it allowed for you to feel like you're playing a different deck even if you're not.
Yeah, just based on the version. Whether it was closer
Yeah.
to Tords or Williams or more of a barrel than more Pidgeot. Whether there's so many
Exactly.
different spin-offs of the same 60.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the shocker of me in the top 6 decks was the Lugia. I'm surprised Lugia stayed this high. For me, like, it just seems like it's not that type of deck now anymore. Like, it just, like, there's not enough special energy. I think Mencino's great, but like the fact that they have to get 2 Archeops in the discard pile and 2 Minccino down and a Lugia down all in 2 turns to start swinging for 350 by turn 3, it just seems too slow. Obviously, I need to play the Lugia deck more often, but out of the surprise meta starts, that's what got me. Any shocks from day 1?
Not really. I knew Lugia was gonna be high just because it has a very good matchup in a Charizard.
Yeah.
But Lugia is definitely one of those Lugia, in my testing, Lugia felt like it was the best deck in the format if you were able to get down 2 Minccino's Lugia turn 1.
If you're able to set up.
Yeah, if you're able to set up those 3 Pokemon turn 1, especially against Zard, it just felt like you won. You already won the game.
You want him,
yeah. But like, it doesn't do that every game, and like, the biggest thing that like I've noticed, at least from like this meta, is kind of you pick a deck that is that you can have a good chance against Zard, and then don't worry about your other matchups. That's literally how this format feels at a large level, especially when we're getting close to 3,000 players.
Yeah.
It's just like you can't metagame this stuff anymore.
No, I think you can, of course, towards the Charizard stuff. Like, you have to have at least some type of plan versus Charizard. But everything else, you're fine taking an L to one of the big 6. And then after that, it's a crapshoot if you make day 2 or not. Right?
Yeah, I don't think you can take that's why I'm surprised Crown is as popular as it is because its Charizard matchup is horrendous.
Um, I mean, let's see if I can figure it out here. I'm trying. I hate how Limitless doesn't have the runs like Pokestats does. Like I play not at a great amount of Iron Crown. I don't know how many of them played the Iron Leaves in there, but
Almost none of them.
if you play one
Because it
Iron
just cuts your
Leaves,
consistency down so
I,
much.
I agree, but you can accelerate the 2 grass turn 1 and then generate the 2 lightning. Like there's ways around it. Um, and I agree it does still cut your consistency off. But if you play either a one of Iron Crown or a one of a Crisis Punch or even both, like I think it could be a 40-60 matchup in favor of Zard, which is all you need in a best of 3. And you're hoping you're one of those games you're playing against Zard, especially in a best of 3, then you're gonna outpace him once, right? And that gets you a cheeky win there. And then maybe you're just hoping for a tie, or you do it twice and you win a long game too. So
Yeah,
I
the
would
only
go ahead.
I was about to say the only way like that like Crown is beating Charizard consistently is if Charizard is going more towards the Prime Catcher route, which I saw a stat on Twitter that basically 50% of the decks, 50% of the Charizards were playing Max Belt, and 35% of them were playing Prime Catcher, and the other 15% were playing Hero's Cape.
Yeah.
If we're going against the Max Belt, then I can definitely see Crown like staying around the percent that it is, just because the Max Belt is what allows these decks. The Max Belt is what gives you like such an amazing hands matchup, because without the belt, it's like Zard has to find Candy backs or Candy Charizard counter catcher kill a Crown turn 1 instead of just punching the active hands.
Uh,
Because they're
yeah.
always going to be taking like the first prize with Miraidon.
Yeah. I think the big one. I don't know if you did you drop. Are you still here?
I'm still here.
Oh no, you're good. My phone vibrated at the same time. I think the biggest thing in that is too is like I think I think Prime Catcher is more optimal at the end of the metagame, but probably not now because it's 50% belt. And that same math is it's the same math for Roaring Moon and Dizard. Like unless your opponent doesn't take the Miraidon knockout, or you don't get a knockout with Miraidon, your opponent's already hitting for the 210 that you need to hit with a Defiance Band, right?
Yeah.
So the
Yes.
max belt, if it's a good Charizard player, Prime Catcher is always the way. And I don't mean to say that as like a degrading way. Like I'm considering myself a bad player for most decks. I only play Roaring Moon really. But like in all seriousness, if I get a knockout with Miraidon on a Charmander turn 1, I'm able to set up Pidgeot Charizard turn 2. I'm quick searching, hopefully, or Arvening for a Defiance Band and a way to get Charizard out. And then that's instantly my response with a Prime Catcher on the Iron Hands you just charged up, because that's 240 after the
Yeah.
A180, 210. Yeah, 240. There's no way around that. And then I also still have my A spec in hand, hopefully, after I get to play a counter catcher. But yeah, so the maximum belt I think is less optimal. The more I played towards list online, and I haven't sleeved up, I haven't played it in person yet. The more I play it online, um, the more I understand why Prime Catcher is the better fit. Um, because most of the time in the Zard game, you are losing early, and Defiance Band does the math enough. And I also found out that like, it feels terrible playing the belt because it's only EXs. So if you're behind against an RCSV Giratina V deck or a Gudra deck or whatever V Star deck you want to pick, that card is irrelevant.
Yeah.
And your one of a spec can never be irrelevant, in my opinion. It literally removes the entire mechanic from the game. Like I play an A spec that doesn't work against my opponent. Why would I play it? I would
Yeah.
prefer playing Hero's Cape over Maximum Bell every day because hitting 460 or 430 is damn near impossible for anything unless you're playing grass weakness stuff.
I
Which
just hate the passive. I don't want to play like the passive aspects.
yeah, it feels like you can't change a game with it.
Exactly. Like you can in certain matchups, but
Obviously, yeah,
like
big knockout with Max Bell. I lived a hit with Hero's Cape, but Vacuum
yeah.
exists. So like once that plays over, it doesn't affect the
Well,
game at
so
all.
like I've been playing the Guardy list a lot, and like it doesn't feel bad in the Guardy deck because like you're taking the knockout with the hero's cape.
Yeah, you're putting yourself
It's
at
not like
160.
exactly like you're like doing damage to yourself to be able to do more damage.
Right.
So that one like that's the only deck besides like control that I feel like something like hero's cape is actually optimal in.
Yeah.
I think everything else, prime like, honestly, prime catcher just feels better.
Yeah. And then day two, only two changes to day two list, which day two meta share, which annoys me. Too many people who didn't know how to play Roaring Moon played Roaring Moon. It seems like, and
Fell
they
off the graphic.
they fell off the graphic, dude. How they gonna
And
disrespect the moon like that? And they let Ancient Box slide in for free.
yeah, Dino Box just kind of said, "I'm here."
And then Lugia actually went up. They went up a percentage, right? They had
Everything went up besides Zard. Zard fell down
yeah.
by basically two and a half
and
percent.
and I don't even know what Moon fell down to. We were at 7 day one, and then Moon fell down to 6.5.
Yeah, there weren't many
So
moons in day two.
yeah, well, you only need one to make it. That's all it counts.
And one was in top eight.
Well, that's what we'll get to here in a second too. So then that breaks down the meta for day two. Are you a fan of dinos? I know you tried an all dark dinos without Dunsparce and like with some Moon EX. Are you a fan of
Oh,
the regular box?
yes, to an extent. Like, I feel like it's the same thing as like I don't. It's the same gripe I have like with how Crown plays. I don't feel like this deck has that great of a Charizard matchup.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the answer that I think Jake played as well, which I caught
Jake
me
did
off.
not play it.
Jake did not play it. I know a little dark
Talking about
fairy. I'm talking
the
about the
Cobalion.
Cobalion. Yeah, the Cobalion. Some people are playing the Cobalion to get the turn one knockout. Um, but I think he's the only ancient box in the top 32.
Yeah, he
He
is.
is. He's the only ancient box in top 32, which is crazy because like it seemed like it was streamed 3 or 4 times, to be honest.
Yeah,
They were
they're
all
all
over the
below
place.
100.
Hmm.
They're all below 100.
So we talked about the dominance of Charizard. Liam Halliburton winning the entire event with Charizard. It's actually, I think we counted this earlier. It's 2 cards different than Tord's list. He
One
kept
card.
it's 1 card different. Sorry, he kept the El Cheers, kept the Turos. I think what did he swap for a second Charmeleon? I think you counted
He
it.
cut the Jirachi.
He cut the Jirachi because he might. If you're playing Jirachi, Charmeleon does the same thing. I fully get that. That's actually super smart. So it's literally Tord's list plus a Charmander minus a Jirachi. Super smart call. And you could tell in the finals too versus Jake playing Ancient Box, like it just wasn't gonna get there. It felt terrible. It really did. He had what? It was 2 ancient cards prized, and he was 1 ancient card away from hitting 330 to force game 3. And it made me sick, honestly, because the fact that he could get to 330 with basically the same list from EUIC that got top 16, except for he changed out 1 Koraidon for a Tusk. Everything else is the exact same. He plays the drum. He does play 1 fire energy and 1 fighting instead of 2 fighting. So he could potentially shred, which I thought that was super cool in case you're playing against
The Noivern.
Noivern or even Mimikyu, right? But Mimikyu doesn't matter
Well,
technically.
you already.
You're
I was gonna
already
say you
basic.
already
You're
get
not
there.
rule box. I mean, just your common shred times that are needed. What else would you have to shred into? To be honest, is that
I
it? Just
like
Noivern?
I thought for like 20 minutes on it when I saw the fire, and that's the only thing I can think
It's
of
just
that
Noivern.
matters. I think it's just Noivern.
Yeah, Ancient Box finishing second. Super cool list. He does play. I don't remember. Do you remember if the EUIC version played Vacuum?
I believe it did.
Yeah, I can't
I'll look
remember.
it up
I can't
real
remember.
quick.
Yeah. I don't want to keep changing tabs over and over again. Um, But yeah, super sick deck.
It did not play
Do
vacuum.
you like the drum?
I so no, but I think you have to play it.
Really?
Um, just because like this was like one of the decks I tested for Orlando, and the biggest issue I had with the deck was like you just lose to Iono. Like there was literally nothing you could
Yeah,
do
yeah,
against
that makes
Iono.
yep. 'Cause
So what this deck allows you to do is basically Pokestop is an out to a research without playing your research.
yeah, potentially if
Um,
you have 5 or 6 in play, right?
exactly. So
You get I don't
it
know to
was
2, play the drum for 7.
yeah. So it's just one of those things where I feel like you have to play it to just be able to see all those cards and to push for those like big numbers against decks like Charizard and Lugia and whatnot.
Yeah. And then like you said, he almost beat Charizard in game 2 of the finals. Liam won the set 2-0. But it literally the Jake just literally scooped to him when he realized that he couldn't hit 330.
Yeah.
And that was so defeating for me as a ancient box player slash appreciator. He does play the one Great Tusk, basically the same as Control, playing one Chi-Yu. This man's playing one Great Tusk. You played yourself down to less than 4 cards. Great Tusk for game. Super sick idea. I know it probably cheesed him a lot of games, especially if they're playing like the long game 1 route, where because it's a single prize deck, right? It's going to take 20-25 minutes to play game 1, depending on what you're playing against. And that Great Tusk probably cheesed out a few wins throughout the weekend.
Sure.
And then we mentioned it earlier, the Gardevoir list that you mentioned that Hexter was playing. I think this is similar to it, but it finished third with Josh Frink. I'm not sure what the differences were between the two lists. I know Alex Shemansky played this exact same list as well, but it doesn't mention Hexter's name underneath it, but Hexter made day 2, so obviously there's some differences between the two lists.
This one played a collapse inside the town store.
Which actually was huge for him in the top 8 game. Did you see the collapse play?
No, I haven't gotten to watch many of
If
the
you
top
have
cut games,
if you have
but
time to watch it, it's a sick
yeah,
collapse play.
it makes a lot of sense though because like this is the deck I'm considering for like future events,
Of
just
course you are.
because it has so many options. Um, but like the thing I was like struggling with when I was playing the deck was like I wanted a second Turo or like a second way of getting rid of Big Guardy because every game that I played with the deck it got down to like a single prize. Like my opponent had one prize card left to take, and I didn't have the Turo, so they had a chance to boss or counter catcher up my Big Guardy, and I would just lose instantly. And the games with this deck take like 30 to 40
It's
minutes
classic
just to
Gardevoir.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's even worse though because like at least you had blowout potential with the Zacian last format. Now you
Mm-hmm.
have zero blowout potential unless you just like the cool play you can do now is like almost nothing's running Manaphy, so you can just like scream tail lock people. But the second collapsed basically acts as the second Turo that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Um, or a Pal Pad was the other card I was thinking of, but like you're playing such high counts of what you need, it doesn't really matter. Um, but I think that Town Store definitely is the cut slot. So the collapse makes sense.
Yeah, I like the collapse a lot. To basically summarize it, I can't remember who he was playing. I think it was
I think he
uh
was playing against
I think it was Brandon
Liam.
Dean. Or I don't think was it Liam? I'll find the picture from Pokestats real
If it was
fast.
top four, it was Liam.
Pokestats. No, it's top 8, I think.
Oh, it was top eight.
Twitter.
Yeah, it was Dean.
Yeah, he's playing against Tina, and Tina finds the route. That is Orlando. Yeah, perfect. Dean finds the route of I could just Sableye the rest of the game, and because you have all your energy in discard pile on Drifloon with Hero's Cape. And then I think they pass for a couple turns back and forth. And so Dean's starting to catch up, and then he gets the collapsed off of, or what's the Curly's ability called?
Refinement.
Refinement. Finds off the refinement, collapse stadiums away the Drifloon, and then accelerates just to, I want to say it was Gardevoir EX for the 190 knockout, or something like that. But then he takes knockout for game after playing collapsed. And so then he was set. He had to find basic Ralts and like another card to make the play happen, but it was definitely worth a watch in the top 8 game. And then we have Celio's Network also playing Charizard, making top 8, or Luke Morsa, however you want to goes by it. Very similar to the William Alzaveta list, but it has what's the call of it? It's more similar.
Yeah, my bad.
No, it was more similar to your list. He cut the Yell Cheer, and I cut the. I'm blanking now. He cut something else besides Yell Cheer for another Charmeleon. Straight up, long story short, it's more of a consistent Charizard standard list compared to Torrens from EUIC and compared to the list that won. He also only played the 3 Arven, 1 Nest Ball, but he also played Devo, Defiance Band, and Belt. So he had other answers besides Morturo. Everyone's playing Cleffa. Cleffa's back.
Cleffa's very good.
How many times did you Cleffa this weekend?
Every time I had an energy and a buddy popping in hand.
Every single time, at least
every time that I had those two.
Over under 7.
Over.
That's crazy. You only played 8 rounds.
Well, I was about to say against Hegster, I used it like 5 times.
Over 7 times. That's nuts. I didn't think anyone would use Cleffa that much.
Yeah, it was very good. The thing is, like, Cleffa is just it just replaces the Baby Mew in every capacity.
Now, and we can talk about this next pod. I was thinking about is this Todd to get replaced by Tatsugiri? And are you tracking this new Tatsugiri?
Which Tatsugiri are you talking about?
The new one in Twilight Masquerade.
What does it do?
It's Stellar Wish, but for supporters.
Yeah, that's just not going to get played. Because the thing, or not in Charizard at least.
Oh, why not? You just Stellar Wish for Arven every time, and then you're golden.
But the thing is, you need more pieces than that in Charizard.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty saucy.
It's no.
I saw
because
a tweet.
Like the thing.
It was like, it better be named Stellar Fish instead of Stellar Wish. I was like, hell yeah, dude. I'm on that train right now. The most important top 8 was the first one for Fabio Silva. This is the first top 8, and Reagan also played it. But new format, Chen Pao's first top 8, I think across the world. Am I right? I don't remember Chen Pao making top 8 in a Champions League. And it didn't at EUIC. So I might be misspeaking on the Champions League part, but I know in this format for the rest of the world, first top 8 in this format. It did not at EUIC. Obviously, Owen Camperman won one of the.
Yeah, I was going to say there were a couple last format. But
yeah, last format. This format, because it didn't place in Perth.
No,
it did not. The top placing one in Perth was like, it's way down here. Oh my god, it's not in the top 32, which we'll talk about Perth after. But yeah, both Reagan and Fabio making it in the top 8 with Chen Pao, which is super cool. Reagan with an 11-0 and a 4 record, and Fabio with a 12-3 record. Super cool decks. And then the main guy that we always love, right, is the Mooney X with the Dunsparce is back. It did lose in top 8 again. But to Reagan Letzloff, so a very accomplished player, very good player. Reagan beat it, I want to say, in 3 games. I'm not sure. He Cyrus Dean, or is that right? Cyrus, did I get that right? Cyrus Dean or Cyrus McCain? I put Cyrus Dean and then 6 and 7. I'm so sorry. Cyrus McCain swapped out um one stadium, so Artisan for Temple of Sinnoh, and then I can't figure out what he cut to get the second rotted. Oh, he cut a second Mooney X. So he went down to 2 Mooney X and played 2 Super Rod. Which I'm not a fan of that trade. But it did work out for him. So props to Roaring Moon and Dunsparce making it again. This deck is for real as it gets. I don't care what the meta manipulation is on the conversion rates. This is a really good deck, especially if it stays hot. I think it's tough to play in best of one from my experience. But if you get 2 or 3 games to set up, I think you're gonna set up 2 or 3 times. Hopefully all three. That's the only way this deck is losing, is if it gets donked and you just don't get to start. Which is why I've been trying Gears, but Gears feel bad too. Have you played it at all? Obviously, did you do it in any of your testing? Did you play it all on the ladder? What are your thoughts
No.
on Moon being back again?
It's the same. It's the same opinion as I had with last format Moon. There's like the deck just doesn't have any skill expression. Like you win the matchups you're supposed to win, and you lose matchups you're supposed to lose.
Yeah,
Like I think this deck has a decent Charizard matchup.
I only lost to one in my 5 and 3 run. I got
Yeah, so
donked.
I just like I think it has a place in the meta just because it has a decent Charizard matchup. But outside of that, there's nothing really super appealing about the deck to me. Um, it's just kind of a deck that's gonna be around, just like how old school Moon was.
Yeah,
But it's not something you should tech for. It's not something like you should really be too worried about
and
unless it's like
I
in a
don't
top player's hands,
right, and
which that's
I don't think you can even tech for it besides that Iron Leaves. Like you're not gonna play a random one
it.
prize or grass attacker, right? Like I don't know. Like,
Well,
well,
it'd be like a playing multiple mist energies would be how you tech for it.
yeah, but you only need to knock out one mist with the temple, and then that should be your 3 prizes. And I can just hit you for 220. Because most things that take a mist energy aren't gonna one shot a moon with a capsule.
I'm
Besides,
talking about like Zard.
I know, but like it's already a tough matchup for Zard. They're not gonna play 2 mist. If I see Charizard playing 2 mist, it's gonna be 40% of the meta, and we're all gonna just play Zard mirrors.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like if we're
but
at that
Mist is good
point,
into the Zard mirrors.
Mist is very good. That's why everyone's playing the Temple of Sinnoh now. And so it's just I think it's a smart change. There's things that we can change in this deck. Like I played the one Roxanne instead of Explorer's Guidance. There's a lot of weird one-off changes you can make to really fit your play style. And if for some people, if second Super Rod is that play, then go for it. I do find that change kind of nice. I find myself needing a extra Baby Moon or an extra Mooney X. Then second Moon would be nice, but like I also just play 3, so like I'm gonna have odds are I have all 3, 2 in hand or 1 on board or something like that. So super cool. That's it for the top 8. Oh, one, and then we talked about Brandon a little bit. Brandon Dean made top 8 with Tina. Lost Box Tina. No Arceus in the top 8, but did finish 11th and 12th. That seemed like a very popular deck across the board, even though it wasn't in the top 6. I think Arceus is really um, I think it's back. I don't know why it's bad. I don't know why it's
So
good.
one thing I want to finish talking on about top 8 is actually top 8. The bubble was 36 match points, and that went all the way down to 10th place with Hunter Butler and Cal Connor.
Yeah,
They both bubbled out of top 8.
correct. Yeah. And so the first tiebreaker is what opponent's win percentage, right?
Yeah, and all 3 of them were tied.
Oh, I did see
So
this picture on Twitter. I
they
was
all
reading.
had what 57.1% opponent win percentage, and then it
Yeah,
went off of opponents.
yeah, that's
So
crazy. That is disgusting. We need a new format. Maybe go to the top 32 bracket.
That's not gonna happen.
No, they did it before. That used to be the format.
Yeah, but there was no day 2.
Yeah, let's just make the day 2 top 32. Make it 9. Make it 7 rounds top 32. 5 rounds top 32.
I'm out for day 2.
Yeah, so day 2 right now is it's 9.
32, 16.
Yeah, it's
So you're gonna add two more
you're adding one.
rounds.
You're adding
2 more.
one.
2.
Because you're moving down to 5. Day 2 is 6 right now.
That means the cut for top 32 would be even higher.
Yeah, it'd be a higher cut. That's the point.
That means if you
Yeah, you don't want the cut to be lower.
No, but like the thing is like they're never gonna do that because they only have the room until like 6 p.m. that they can hold capacity at these convention centers.
No, maybe. Well, they have cleanup. There's no way it's 6 p.m. they have to be done by.
No, they have to stop letting people in at 6.
Yeah, if you're not in, yeah, then get out. Like that's fine. No one's. I mean, the TCG is always the last game to be played. Like I remember watching it over the weekend. Like
because we have the most players.
VGC's finals is like in the background of our Masters top 8.
Yeah. I mean, we have 2,400 players. Like VGC is barely breaking 700.
Yeah, I think there's got to be a way to change it though to make it more efficient.
I think a top 16 cut is where we're headed to.
5 rounds top 16 or 6 rounds top 16. Because either way,
No,
you'd add,
rounds.
yeah, you would add.
You're gonna add an extra round.
Either way,
because we're getting to the point where we're gonna have to add an extra round because 36 points for cut. That means if you go in at 6-2-1, if you tie a round, you're out of contention.
Correct. But you could still make top money 32. It'd still be really difficult. But like if you're playing for money,
so if you take a loss or a tie at 6-2-1, like you're basically out of contention even for that.
Because what did Thomas finish? Thomas finished. It doesn't say. It just showed money win. What's his record? Thomas Troab.
Yeah, he was 32nd.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find out his record. It doesn't show me. Classic.
I had a friend, Scott DeGraw, at 22nd with Iron Hands, and he took one loss and he was bumped out of top 16.
Yeah, that's crazy. But hey, got the trip paid for. That's pretty nice. Yeah. Shout out to Scott playing Iron Hands. I mean, did he change anything? This is like the exact same list.
He's playing Pokemon catchers. Was the only thing.
Whoa, that's actually sick though. Well, instead of counter, he played. I mean, that is what
one counter catcher, and I think he cut a nest ball.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 Gus cards. That's actually insane. Oh my gosh! Excuse me. I would just laugh so hard, cough myself to death. Oh.
But
shoot! No, I'm so sorry. I was coughing my lung out.
Yeah, Arceus, I think did I don't want to say overperformed, but it did have a couple decent spots near the top.
I mean, there was a lot of winning ins with Arceus too.
Yeah,
a lot of winning ins with Arceus. The meta seems diverse enough to keep it long, but I think more and more people are going to start sliding over to Charizard, and we're going to get into Lugia numbers here pretty soon. Because as we can see in the smaller tournaments, Lugia is 30% day 2 in both of them. 31.21 in Singapore, and almost the exact same percentage in Perth day 2 at 31.25. This is a problem. We all hated the format where Lugia was 30%. Do you see a difference in this format compared to that, with Lugia being 30% at the time?
Do I see a difference?
Yeah, do you see a difference? Like right now, like we all hated the Lugia format where everyone was just playing Lugia all the time.
I actually don't hate those formats.
I do.
Because it's easy to metagame. Because you can kind of, like, if you know you're going to play against 3 Zards, you just play a deck that's good into Zard and hope you have 50-50 matchups across the board.
Right.
I think for, like, your higher level players, like, those types of formats are actually better for those types of players because they know, like, okay, we're going to hit 3 Zards no matter what, and we might hit more. So if we play a deck that's good into Zard, then we should be fine.
Yeah, but that's just less fun
Um,
for the game. I get why it's good for a competitive player.
I mean, like that's the thing is like, what side of the
Yeah,
coin are you on? If you're on the competitive side, then like it doesn't really matter what cards get printed. Most of us don't. The competitive scene, we don't really care if
yeah.
it's super fun or not. We just want to play high level Pokemon. So it's like, if I know I'm gonna be playing against Art all day, it's fine. It's the same thing with Lugia. It's like during Lugia format, I played Regis, and I never lost to a Lugia player
Yeah.
because it was just very good into it, and then everything else was like 50-50. My only losses with Reggie's was the Reggie mirror and
Ross Box Ray.
like
Get pooped on.
yeah.
I love that deck
Huh?
so much. The Amazing Rare
Oh
Rayquaza
no,
Raikou
you
box.
destroy that. You destroy that deck.
Maybe not in Lincoln, Nebraska. I was the best Lost Zone box Rayquaza player. This is the best. I love
Or
that. I still have it in my
what,
box.
all six people?
Yeah, exactly. 100% scale diff. Um, talking about scale diff, there's 5 Charizards in top 8 of one, two, three, four. Yeah, 5 Charizards, top 8 of Perth. And as soon as I saw
And
the picture on Twitter,
and
they
four of
remind
them were on this. Three of them were the same exact 60.
yes, they were all the group testers. But it reminded me of that year they top 8 Palkias.
Yes.
Yeah, instant response. So as um Barack just mentioned, I literally forgot your name mid sentence. As I can't say it. How do you say the first place guy's name? Kaiwen.
I win cab.
Kaiwen Cab are already. Max Prescott and Natalie Min are all finished top 16 with the list. 3 of them big in top 8. Um, they played the Regieleki control version, which I get why they call it a control version, but it's basically just playing a junk arm card in it, right? There's nothing crazy special to it.
Basically.
They're like, oh, hey, I
It
can
just
get.
gives you a better mirror matchup. Is the only thing it gives you.
Yeah, because it stops them from taking 2/2/2, but then allows you to get your rare candy Charizard, your rare candy Pidgeot, whatever you need in that space to get it back. I think it's a super cool idea. Um, I do like the double Charmeleon though. I think it would be better to play double Charmeleon in this list compared to the ones we've seen it in. Like the winner of Orlando, Liam played the double Charmeleon. Like it might as well just do that and cut your Jirachi to up your consistency slightly. But maybe that's just me. I haven't played with the Regieleki enough because you can just like get Rod back and then Rod back in your Jirachi, right? Instead of trying to Rod back in Charmeleons and Charmanders.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of like the style of Charizard. It just feels like you're trying to. I don't know. Like it just doesn't feel. It's the same reason why I'm not a big fan of the Devo and the Charizard decks. Is because like the turns that you are taking off with Charizard don't
But
feel
yeah,
great.
because they progress their board state so much faster. Like you
Yeah.
take the time to get a trainer back out of your discard pile. That allows me a turn to have a clean Zard still, or
Yeah.
find my second Pidgeot, or start
The
charging up
only
a Radiant Zard.
time. So if this was played two Charmeleons, I wouldn't mind the Regieleki because you can that like basically you would set up like a one prize board where you have no two prizers out and you're just attacking with Regieleki every turn
Yeah,
to be able to find like that last piece and it
all your
forces them in
pieces.
the
Yeah,
mirror. It forces them in the mirror to be able to go. Um, they have to kill a one prizer. It doesn't matter what one prizer they kill, but they have to kill a one
they have
prizer.
to get one of them. Yep,
Exactly. So like I understand the Regieleki. It seems okay.
it's a great idea. I think it's awesome.
It's a great idea, but I feel like it just I know it just beats the mirror, but I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Everything is worth a test, right? Like I agree with you. I think the biggest thing is like, hey, well, if Charizard's 30% of the room, why would we not just guarantee our Charizard matchup every time if they're not playing this card, right?
Exactly.
So good for them. That's like what it's like.
They're
I mean,
they're
that's
great
a
players.
they
So
are great players. I think that's like a $50,000 total cash between all of them, and they all played the same deck. So super
yeah.
cool. Um, that's Orlando. Gotta go back one. Here we go. We did see a regular Lost Box Just random Lost Zone box, right? Played the one Mew, one Hoopa, one Raikou, one Rory Moon EX in top 8 there. We haven't had one here yet, I don't think. Am I right saying that?
Yeah.
Um,
We haven't. We probably won't either.
I'm very shocked by this results, but I still my friend Drew likes playing this deck a lot. Played it in our locals Thursday night, and it beat me playing the Dunsparce Moon. I couldn't tell you what's the best route against this deck because it has so many options. Um, and I'll just say it out there. Like I had Roy Mooney X on board. I could knock out his Hoopa and not damage myself, or I could knock out Moon Iron fully charged Iron Hands and damage myself. Either way, he's still got a 3 price turn off board with Sableye. Like this deck is just it's your classic Lost Zone box escape board or emergency board. Is super clean in the list. Overall, the deck just flies. Any thoughts on Lost Zone box? You said it's not going to come over here. Why is that? Do you not like the deck? What's the thought?
So the deck is actually insanely good. It was a deck that I put a little bit of time into before the tournament, before Orlando.
Yeah.
But the deck just feels like it doesn't hit very quickly when it misses. Like when it hits, like there were many games where I just like turn one Greninja sniped 2 things and you win the game instantly.
Yeah.
Or like I was able to go turn one Iron Hands and I just win. But like the turns where I actually had to play the game like a fair way, like not just like I
Not
mean
no,
that
I
like
know, I get what you're saying. It's not
like
mirage gating certain ones.
I had to play a fair when I had to play a fair game, the deck just didn't feel great. Um and this just auto loses to like Chin Pao. Like I truly don't know how this deck beats Chin Pao. Which is like 10% of the room. So it's like it's
I mean, you would. I mean, I guess your route would be Mew, Moonlight, Shuriken early.
yeah, but
And
yeah,
you
I
can do
guess.
that multiple times with gates and stuff. And it's got free retreat.
Yeah, but then
Um,
they're just
no,
killing your anyway.
I agree. I still think it's very unfavorable. I think that's the route that you have to take. Um,
Uh,
but we did
and
see in
that's the
Orlando.
the reason I don't think it's gonna be popular though. To end that thought was
Yeah.
because, or in the states at least, is because this deck just kind of gets like it. One, it's very difficult to play, and two, it's just like it's good matchup. It's the same as like Moon to Dunsparce. This deck feels very similar to that, but Moon to Dunsparce auto beats control, and this deck
Oh, it
has a
instantly
lot of
loses
like bad
control.
starters.
Yep.
So
And it doesn't play Penny. Like
yeah,
the one time you start the bad starter into Dunsparce, I'm literally just gonna Penny it up.
yeah.
And then
Well, you can shuffle the Dunsparce back in. That's the
well,
thing.
that's the main thing. Yeah, obviously the
Yeah,
Dunsparce goes
you can
back into
go
the deck.
infinite.
You could go
You,
infinite, never play your
yeah.
Greninja down, and still draw enough cards to be
I was about to
control.
say, if you're playing the Lost Vacuum, you just Lost Vacuum your ninja away and you have a live attacker every turn.
I am not playing a vacuum yet, but I'm slowly thinking about playing one.
I think
I
you have to.
I just don't know what you cut. It's so hard in Moon. We'll talk about Moon here in a
Yeah.
second because Moon top aided again, also in Perth. This list by Tim Franklin. The card he changed were where to go. I saw it. He played. I think he just
Nice
changed.
temple. He
Just
just
played
cut the
the.
artisan for a simple.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'm trying to get the image open. Yeah, he just changed the artisan from a temple from the top 8 EUIC list, which I find this list super good as well. I really enjoy the Roxanne in there. Um, I think that would be the future of it. I might go back to this kind of more of a basic list eventually. Um, but we'll see. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a great list. I mean, if this is 2 top 8s in a row, we're like, oh hey, now this list is popular. I have to play Temple of Sinnoh in case Miss Energy's here, which is a normal
Yeah.
reaction. I think I would prefer to cut one shoe. That's more of a me thing. I don't like shoes. Shoes suck. What are those people that wear like to cut the bottoms of their shoes off? You know what I'm talking
I have
about?
no idea.
There's these people,
Yeah, I know what you're talking
the
about.
group
But I
of
don't
people.
know.
I'm one of those people now. I don't like trekking shoes. I'm just gonna cut the soles off. So Roaring Moon is back. It was almost the only deck besides Charizard to top 3 all events, but it did not make it in Singapore. Ancient Box made it in Singapore's list though. So shout out to Ancient Box. But this crazy Lost Zone Box Giratina list actually won the whole event. And I say crazy because it's also playing a Raikou, an Iron Hands, and Iron Leaves. And it's playing, what is that, 16 energy, 4, 9, 2, 6, 14, 15 energy. It seems unheard of in a Lost Box Giratina deck.
Yeah, this list just seems like you're trying to do too much.
I agree.
Like I just don't see really how like I understand why the Iron Hands is good. It helps like your Lugia matchup, which I don't feel like this is bad to begin with against Lugia. But I
Yeah.
guess if they go single prizer, it can be weird. And then the Raikou early. Um, the Raikou is the one that sticks out that I'm like, why are we playing this?
It's the only, I mean, like, it gives you another out to use Forest Sealstone early. So you could potentially play a game without using Tina at all. Not sure why you would do that, but it does give you an extra out to a Forest Sealstone user. If you can't find Tina for whatever reason, because you are only playing 2 Buddy Buddy Poffin and 4 Nest Ball. So, like, you can't set up as easy as some of the other Tina lists that
Yeah,
we normally
I guess
see.
that's fair.
They are playing 1 Artisan and 1 Beach Court. I know most people with Tina are playing the Temples. Not sure why we're playing Beach Court instead of, they did cut the emergency board. Like, I think they chose Beach Court over emergency board in this scenario.
Which
But
I can see.
there's not any vacuum. I think both. I mean, I see why they changed it, but there's not.
There's one vacuum.
No, in his list, yeah, but in the format in overall, the vacuum is
Um,
maybe in a
I
couple
think
decks.
I think the 2 stadium is to bump like an early Sinnoh.
Yeah,
Because
early
like if you
Sinnoh.
like so if your opponent just slams a Sinnoh down in like a Charizard deck or something, and uh,
Yeah, and it
that
would
means you
suck.
can never play your Sinnoh down. Or
Yeah,
like you don't play the Sinnoh down in that matchup until you have to take it like a big Lost Requiem turn or Star Requiem turn.
yeah. It
So
also gives you a third out to headquarters.
yes,
Yep,
which
which is very good. Headquarters is great right now. Do love headquarters. But that's the Singapore top 8 is also just all Charizards. It's just, where is it at? I just missed it here. I got 2 back arrows. Sorry. It's this is the least amount of Charizards out of all the top 8s. Only 1 in top 8. The one list that I'm waiting on that I'm hoping is really good. Brandon Chua or Xavier Chua. Sorry,
yeah.
Xavier Chua. Oh, they better be related. But played Future Box mainly with Iron Leaves. And so he might have just eliminated every Charizard from existence from this tournament. And that might be just what happened because there's literally only 1 in top 8.
1 in top 8, 5 in top 16.
Yeah, there's the rest of them. There's the rest of them. I'm assuming this Roaring Moon is the Dead Sparse Moon at 14th. Shout out Vincent. But yeah, I was really shocked to see like why Singapore was the different result for the Charizard.
Because best one.
It's also best of 1, but like if you're playing best of 1 and you hit this guy playing all Iron Leaves deck, then yeah, GG's. Which, like, I play a rogue for fun Iron Leaves Iron Valiant deck, which is like super sick. Like, I never thought I would ever take it to an actual tournament, right?
Talking about what you tried to convince me to play.
I mean, I wanted you to play Moon. I think Moon's still best deck in the format because
No.
it takes 50. It's a 50-50 thing into every deck in the format, and it's got a 60-40 into Charizard.
Yeah, but then it doesn't set up 1 in 3 games.
You only have to win 2 and 3.
Yeah,
It's
but you don't always
that's
win those.
that's the best. That's literally that's the 2 out of 3. It's literally best 2 out of 3.
Yeah, but you don't win all those. It's a 50-50 when you set up, and it doesn't set up 1 in 3 games, so you're only winning once.
Yeah, I don't know. Your math's not mathing. I don't understand that. My brain doesn't compress it. That's all the things that I wanted to talk about. Any shocks or things you want to talk about? There's so many results and so many tournaments this weekend. Indies in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you're going to that. And so we got to start prepping because that's the last tournament. If I remember correctly, it's the last tournament in this format.
I don't think the next set's going to change that much. But yes.
But I mean, A specs wise it is, and then that Ursaluna will. We'll do that. Yeah. We'll do a preview of the next format the week after Los Angeles. Is Los Angeles before or after Indy?
After.
Oh, so we'll do it after Los Angeles. We'll do a new format preview. I think you're right. Not a lot's going to change, but I think the more cards that are getting revealed, the more I'm slightly changing. Because Gardevoir has a new attacker, and Gardevoir is already doing really well. And
what's the new attacker in Gardevoir?
The poison Pokemon thing that does more damage and has a dark energy on it.
Oh, that's not gonna see play.
It's got more health. It has more health than Drifloon, and it's the same attack. It's
but it needs a dark energy.
You don't have to have the dark energy. It's an ability. It's all psychic attack, and the ability does more damage if it has a dark. So you can play. Let me find it. Hold on. Let me go to my just chatting page. Justin Bays. It's the DLC Pokemon, the bird.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
It does 30 more based on how many. It's Gardevoir's attack. It's a shiny Arcana, but just like 30 HP less. It'll be played. I promise you. Justin Basil home. What's next? Twilight Masquerade card translations. Psychic. Applin's back. Let's go. Fire. Oh, the new the Palafin stuff that looks crazy. Iron Thorns EX changes the whole meta. Ability lock out of the active.
No, this is so much worse than.
It's 30 times 30 for each energy attached to this Pokemon. It's the same thing.
Yeah. No, it's not. Drifloon does 30 for each damage counter.
Right, but it only has 80 damage. If I put a Bravery Charm on this
does
thing,
180.
Yeah, this thing
does 180. This can only be this only hits 150.
Math. Hold on. Pausing. Yeah, Bravery Charm puts it at 170. You can put.
Means you need 8 energies on it.
Yeah, it's about 160. That's 240. 210.
240. Drifloon with Bravery does 300.
What? You mean with the Hero's Cape it does 300? It can't with a Bravery Charm.
With a Bravery, yeah. It does 30 damage for each damage counter on it.
Oh, that is just 30 times 1 is 2. Yeah, you're right. That's math. Yes. Bad math. I do like it still in the deck, though. It's got more health, beefier. I don't know if it'll be played. To your point, I mean, it's the same thing as Drifloon. But Drifloon just does more damage. So, yeah, I think you're right. But it's a cool card. And then, what else is there? Greninja's in this format, which is going to be crazy. And then, Iron Thorns EX. Oh, then my favorite one, Dragapult TX. I can't wait. Because it also has Airmail. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, the Dracloak has a one string return to the top 2 cards of your deck. Put one of them in your hand and the other one on the bottom of your deck. And then Dragapult EX does 200 damage, puts 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon any way you like. And Jirachi cannot stop it because you are not a basic. So basically, broken deck, 320 HP. Neo Upper Energy finally has a usage. So that's what we have looking forward to it.
Jirachi would still stop it.
No, because Jirachi only stops basic Pokemon's attacks. Jirachi. What's that? Was that from? Obsidian Flames. Oh, Jirachi.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think I'm right.
You're right.
There we go. We traded 1 for 1.
You're
You're right. I am right. You're wrong. That's fine. 1 for 1. I don't blame you. Yeah, I wish the Tatsugiri was trainer cards instead of supporters. It really bums me out. That's all the things that I had from the next set. Or anything you're looking forward to the next set? I mean, we're getting really close here. Everything's getting revealed, and Handhammer's back. The Hyper Aroma's back. Search your deck for 3 stage 1 Pokemon, reveal them, and put it into your hand. Is that Gardevoir's new ace spec?
No.
Just
because the TM Evo is just better. Because
I agree. If you're attacking for it.
Exactly. So the TM Evo puts them in play, and then you can evolve them to the Gardevoir the following turn.
Yeah.
The other one, like, you put them into play, and then you can't Gardevoir. You might there might be a build of it that plays that and then puts candies back in. To play more aggressively.
Yeah, I think the main change, and we'll talk about more of this in depth of a video though, is the A spec meta really changes. Like we have the energy that your opponent takes 1 fewer prize if it's knocked out. The survival cast if it gets knocked out, remaining with 10 HP. Unfair stamp, scoop up cyclone just got revealed, right? Like there's a lot of stuff happening. And then we get Love Ball, which is not going to be played. I thought that was going to be cool. I just saw it when I was scrolling Justin Basil. All right, cool. I think that's a great episode. Orlando, great weekend. I'm trying to convince the wife to secretly let me go to Indianapolis. But odds are NAIC is still it for me. And then we'll get moving with a new format because that's a whole new ball game. I won't even get to play a big tournament in this format, which kind of stinks. But I think Moon will be just fine next format, which is all I need to know.
All right.
Any closing thoughts for you? Last chance.
Not really.
All right, buddy.
Not this week.
All right, man. Get some sleep. Thank you for doing the pod on your travel day. And we will see you all next week. Oh, dude, I forgot. Brock can drop the call if he wants. Dude, our logo's done. We didn't even talk about it in person yet or anything. I secretly, and this is not Brock's fault, in my head now for too long. Am I allowed? There we go. Nope, it's not going to let me do it. What are we doing here? Display capture, make visible, automatic window, automatic display, primary monitor. Okay, bam. All the way to the bottom here. Close that. This is our new logo. It has Totodile on it, and it's absolutely sick. I don't know where I thought of this name / logo combo, but the guy I paid $30 on Fiverr to do this knocked it out of the park.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was not. That's why I didn't even mention it to you because I wasn't gonna think of it as a big deal. He also sent me a bunch of stuff for the different colorways, so they're all based on Totodile's colors. So there's like, let me see if I can see. I won't pull them up now, but there's some of them that have bite marks in the bottom underneath his feet. It's like he bit part of the logo, and then sometimes the circle is like the yellow of his belly or the red of his fin instead of the blue. And so like all the colors are interchangeable plus the bite mark, but they all have the headphone and the mics, which I love my big headphones anyway. So it fits right in. Brock will eventually love big headphones and recording studio stuff once he gets it. But this is an absolutely insane logo. It'll be all the thumbnails, all the banners. I gotta do some more editing with it involved just to put our socials and stuff on it. But it came out better than I ever thought it would be.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We're a real podcast now, dude. We made it to episode 2.
It's awesome. Love to see it.
All right. Oh, I did it again. Oh god. That is it for episode 2 of the Totem Pile. Thank you for being here. Thank you for Brock. Good luck on making your new piles. I don't know. We didn't think of a cool catchphrase for this podcast, but good luck with your piling. We will see you all next week. Peace.
Peace.
There's gotta be a cool. There's gotta be a cool way.
We'll brainstorm.
Yeah, we can.